Hi everyone, welcome back to the new video. In my previous video, we have covered themes on literature and books. And today I would like to tell you about the priorities, that whatever themes I am telling you, please keep them into priorities. Books and literature, please keep it under priority 1. So whenever you read history, modern history, ancient history, make sure that you keep literature, personalities and books in priority 1. Also international organizations. We have covered banks, international banks in the previous video. So there are very few banks, you can also keep them on priority 1. Today we are going to cover a very small topic, carbon. But you will see a lot of questions on carbon. It's just 1 page or 2 page notes if you will read carbon, but you will get a lot of questions. We will see. Then basic science of industries that you have read in class 9th and 10th. So from the production till its slag and its application, everything is very important for exam point of view. Then next is WTO and IMF. So I have taken very small themes today: carbon, WTO, IMF, basic science of industries. Now let's see how many questions has been asked in previous year. So first question, why is there a concern about copper smelting plants? They may release lethal quantities of carbon monoxide into environment. See, here it says may release, okay? But the gas it says is carbon monoxide. If it says carbon dioxide, let's understand the difference, why this is called more poisonous, okay? But CO2 is not. This is a greenhouse gas, but this is a poisonous gas. Why? Both are made with carbon and oxygen. CO2 will create a negative impact on our body when our body will fail to absorb oxygen. In that condition, it will start absorbing CO2 that will finally enter our bloodstream. But CO, it will directly enter our bloodstream and it will impact our health. So carbon monoxide directly impacts our health, but CO2 will impact our bloodstream when we have lack of oxygen in our lungs. That's why it is considered as carbon monoxide as poisonous, while CO2 is a greenhouse gas and less poisonous than CO. So this is a poisonous gas, and it is very unlikely that government will allow certain industry where there is a chance of carbon monoxide to be released or such poisonous gas to be released in the environment. Second says carbon slag can cause the leaching of some heavy metals into the environment. Maybe it is talking about the metals, so obviously most of the industries do that. Third, they may release sulfur dioxide as a pollutant. Yes, it can. It's simply a pollutant, okay? Now, all the statements are mostly unknown here and all talk about some kind of emission. So either you go for all of the above. One option is that you go for all of the above. The other option is you look if one of these does not make sense. So like I said that carbon monoxide is a poisonous gas, so this does not make sense. So if you simply remove statement 1, D is gone, C is gone and A is gone and you are left with B. That is 2 and 3 only. This was a question from application of industries. Let's take another question. With reference to furnace oil, consider the following statements. It is a product of oil refineries. Some industries use it to generate power. Its use causes sulfur emissions into environment. In our high school, we have read about this. If you can remember, there was something like this. Okay. Here the temperature is around 400 degrees centigrade. Here the temperature is around 20 degrees centigrade. Okay. From here the crude oil is kept. Okay. Now we boil the crude oil and according to its boiling point, the material starts to convert into original product, because crude oil is made up of it has a lot of mixtures, a lot of byproducts. Okay, So when we boil the crude oil according to its boiling point, the products will start to boil, and then one by one petrol and all byproducts will come out, wax and all. So at 20 degree the wax will come out, and so on. And at last the furnace oil is left, at which is not even burnt at 400 degrees centigrade. Okay. So it says it is a product of oil refineries, which is correct. Some industries use it to generate power. This is also correct. Its use causes sulfur emissions into environment. This is true. It does cause sulfur emissions. So if you have read this one in your school time, then you could have answered it. This is also a question from application of industries. My point is, whatever industries you have read during your school time, or whatever is given in the NCERTs at present time in class 11th industrial chemistry as well as class 9-10, read them. From last theme, books and literature, I have taken one question here. Which one of the following books of ancient India has the love story of the son of the founder of the Sunga dynasty? In last video, I told you the founder of Sunga dynasty was Pushyamitra. Pushyamitra. Now, if you break his name, it's Pushya and Mitra. Now come to the books. Swapnavasa Vadat, Malvikagni Mitra. Okay. It says love story of the son of the founder of the Sunga dynasty. The founder of the Sunga dynasty is Pushyamitra. Then his son will also be someone Mitra. Okay. Now let's break this name, Malvikagni Mitra. So it becomes Malvika plus Agnimitra. Okay. So it means Agnimitra is the son of Sunga dynasty's founder, who is Pushyamitra. So the book is Malvikagnimitra. So if you knew that the founder of Sunga dynasty was Pushyamitra, you could have simply got the answer. What is blue carbon? Now the next theme was carbon. So see, first question from the carbon theme. What is blue carbon? Carbon captured by oceans and coastal ecosystems. Carbon sequestered in forest, biomass and agriculture soils. You should know what is carbon sequestration. Carbon contained in petroleum and natural gas. Carbon present in the atmosphere. So this one is, usually we have read about these two. So if they had a name, it would have been known to us. Carbon present in the atmosphere, because in atmosphere carbon is present in different form, like in CO2 form, in coal and different forms. Okay, I mean coal dust particles. Carbon sequestrated in forest, biomass and agriculture soil. It should be green because it is related to forest and biomass. Carbon captured by ocean. Oceans are blue. So it makes sense here. Blue is synonymous to ocean और water. पढ़ा है ना, गाना सुना होगा ना, ब्लू है पानी पानी, तो बस वही है, ब्लू पानी पानी. The common carbon metric supported by UNEP has been developed for. Now many of the people have asked that this was not given anywhere in the newspaper, anywhere in the magazine, then how to solve? See, you don't have to solve, but still if you want to solve it, I'll tell you how. It says common, first thing. First thing given is common, then carbon and then metric. So metric means assess, to assess something. Common means which is common to everyone. Okay, and this is about the carbon. We have to find out the assessment, assessing. Now this says enable, remove it. Option C says enable, remove it. Now you are left with A and D. D says assessing the overall carbon footprint caused by the use of fossil fuels by the world in a unit time. It says in a unit time. Now what is the meaning of in a unit time? it means rate. It means per unit time means it is a rate. But this is not a rate, this is a common carbon metric. So you can eliminate this one because this is a rate, but this is not a rate, this is a common carbon metric. And it says assessing the carbon footprint of building operations around the world. So for all the buildings, they are making it common. So yes, it sounds logical that for building operations, they are building something common. And metric means assessment. So they are assessing the carbon footprint, okay? Next, which of the following statements best describe carbon fertilization? Again, the answer lies in the keyword only. Fertilization. We all know the meaning of fertilization. Now relate which of the following statement is related to fertilization. Increased plant growth due to increased concentration of CO2 in the atmosphere. Increased temperature of earth due to increased, it has nothing to do with fertilization. Increased acidity of oceans, increased acidity has nothing to do with fertilization. Adaptation of all living beings on earth to the climate change brought about by the increased concentration of CO2 in the atmosphere. Adaptation has nothing to do with fertilization as well. So these three are not related, but plant growth, this is fertilization. Okay, if the fertilization increases means population will increase. That's what it says, na, plant growth. Next, this is another question from the application of industries. Now, coal ash, it is a byproduct of thermal power plants. Remember, this is a byproduct of thermal power plants, not the power plants. Power plants could be of anything. This is a thermal power plant which is run by coal. Coal-based thermal power plant. Okay. Coal is not harmful itself, but when it is burned, it generates gases plus ash. Okay, and both are harmful. So in 2015 or somewhere, and then in 2021, 2 years we have seen a question on coal ash. Okay, so first statement says coal ash contains arsenic, lead and mercury. Second says, now this is a very general topic, coal ash, you should know because this is application of industries. It was even in the PYQ. So you expect that they will ask you something different. So instead of using silica and all material, they have used very different material, arsenic, lead and mercury. Then in second statement, they have used that coal-fired power plants release sulfur dioxide. Now it does not say that coal ash, it says coal-fired power plant. And this is very simply known to us that yes, it is sulfur dioxide, that they do release sulfur dioxide. This is also known in geography that high ash content is observed in India. So statement 2 and 3 was still general, okay? Only statement 1 was a bit difficult because it has not used the term silica and all, okay? So this statement you should know that it also contains arsenic, lead and mercury. So statement 1 is also correct and the right answer is D. Which one of the following statements best describes the term social cost of carbon? Whenever we read this term, cost in environment, it means some kind of damage. Okay, so you can note this down. Now let's read the options. Long-term damage. So here is a term damage done by a ton of CO2 emissions in a given year. Requirement of fossil fuels for a country to provide goods and services to its citizens based on the burning of the fuels. So this does not talk about any kind of cost or the damage directly. Efforts put in by climate refugee to adapt to live in a new place. This also doesn't have anything to do with the cost. Contributions of an individual person to the carbon footprint on the planet Earth. This is also kind of rate, per person. Okay, so this is a rate. Okay, so cost of carbon is something that creates a damage, and this one suits exactly damage done by a certain amount of CO2, and that certain amount is a ton of CO2. Okay, so cost is damage caused by something at certain amount, by some XYZ entity at some amount. Okay, so here that entity is CO2. So 1 ton of CO2 creates the damage which is called cost of carbon. Sorry, social cost of carbon. Steel slag, another question from the application of a industry. Steel slag, we have read about steel slag. There is that we put coke and hematite and all into that stove, and then we burn it up to 2600 degrees centigrade, and then we get the steel, and some slag is out. Okay, through this vent here the slag comes out. So let's come. Steel slag can be the material for which of the following: construction of base road, improvement of agriculture soil, production of cement. Now we have read about the production of steel in class 9th. This was a very simple one, and it is done like all of them are possible. So the correct answer is D, 1, 2 and 3. Next, in rural road construction, the use of which of the following is preferred for ensuring environmental sustainability or to reduce carbon footprint? In the Hindu, there was one small article on this. It was related to Maharashtra or something. There is one small article, and the article was written as a story. No one find that this could be a potential topic for the question in the exam, and UPSC did ask a question on it. Okay, so let's see. It says copper slag. Like I told you in previous question also, we have read steel slag is used for it. Okay, so maybe obviously slag is a waste material and it is going to create trouble to the environment. So definitely we can use it. Okay, for sustainability of environment, because this is waste. Na? Second, cold mix asphalt technology, geotextiles, hot mix asphalt. Okay, now let's come to these two. One says cold mix asphalt, one says hot mix. Hot mix itself suggests that this one is harmful. Now let's remove it. Fourth one. If we remove fourth, this is gone. This is gone. Now left with 1, 2, 3, 1 and 5. Now there is one bonus system which I used to follow during my attempts that could be used to answer it as A. But since we are not talking about rules here, because now we do not work on elimination rules, we work upon logics. Okay. Next is Portland cement. Cement is harmful. It's simply known to us. We can simply say that Portland cement is the first cement that was developed long back. So cement is harmful. So we can simply eliminate this 5. Now we are left with 1, 2 and 3. In the context of mitigating the impeding global warming due to anthropogenic emissions of CO2, carbon dioxide, which of the following can be potential sites for carbon sequestration? Second time we have seen this term, carbon sequestration. Okay, this topic is very important. Now you have seen 4 or 5 questions in last 3-4 years from carbon sequestration itself. Abandoned and uneconomic coal seams. If you know that what is carbon sequestration, you can answer. Okay, even we can do this in deep mines, like we can bury the carbon. But the problem is, if we bury it today, so we are expecting, suppose let's take one simple example. Suppose there are 100 units of carbon in environment. Okay, in atmosphere, out of 100, suppose we have digged a hole and we have sequestrated 20 units. Now what's left? 80. Okay, now suppose this is the standard that we have to maintain 90. Okay, so after few times it will again jump to 90. Now the present is 90 units which is required. So we are happy, no need to do this again. Okay, but if due to some reason this comes out again, so it will add here, no? Plus 20, it will become 110, and this time it will be more harmful. So that's why it's harmful. I mean, these are the side effect of carbon sequestration, but still, for now, this is the solution, and the best solution is trees. Trees are the best solution. So here there are three statements: abandoned and uneconomic coal seams. Can we bury the coals here? Carbon here? Yes, we can, because it's uneconomic, no, it's of no use. Depleted oil and gas reservoirs, they are also drilled. So yes, we can do that. Subterranean deep saline formations. Again, this is deep saline formation. So yes, we can sequestrate there as well. Okay. So we can do it. Means D is the right answer. Now comes WTO and IMF. These are the two, actually WTO, IMF, European Union and World Bank. These are the international organizations from which you will get a lot of questions. Let's take this is the first question. In the context of which of the following do you sometimes find the terms amber box, blue box and green box in news? So we have read about AOA, Agreement on Agriculture. Agreement on Agriculture, WTO effort. Okay. So it is a part of amber box, blue box and green box are subsidies, part of Agreement of Agriculture, and it comes under WTO affairs. So you simply read about WTO, IMF, World Bank and European Union. If something is in news, then European Union. Otherwise, for static part, read about WTO, read about World Bank and read about IMF and their financing mechanism. Next, consider the following statements. India has ratified two trade facilitation agreement of WTO, TFA of WTO. TFA is a part of WTO's Bali Ministerial Package 2013. TFA came into force in January 2016. Okay, so this one is correct, this one is correct, this one is incorrect. Okay, it came into existence in I think 2013 itself or 14. Okay, so statement 3 is incorrect. Now let's, if you remove statement 3, we get 1 and 2. With reference to the National Intellectual Property Rights Policy, consider the following statements. It reiterates India's commitment to the Doha Development Agenda and the TRIPS Agreement. Department of Industrial Policy and Promotion is the nodal agency for regulating intellectual property rights in India. Which of the statements is correct? Are correct? Again, this question is also from WTO affairs, TRIPS, which is related to WTO. This is also related to WTO and both the statements are correct. India enacted the Geographical Indications of Goods Registration and Protection Act 1999 in order to comply with the obligations too. Now every week in Samachar Manthan videos, PDF, most of the times you see GI tags in news. Okay, so India has its own act, GI Goods Registration and Protection Act 1999. Okay, and it was to comply the obligations of WTO it's only. So if you will watch free YouTube videos, you will find out, they will tell you tricks that whenever you see WTO market, most of the time it's correct, but that's not the right approach. You should know, because WTO is it's not a very lengthy topic, it's just 2-3 pages. So read it. Every time you are getting questions from WTO, IMF, World Bank, so better read these 3 topics. No? With reference to trade related investment measurement TRIMS, which of the following statements are correct? Quantitative restrictions on imports by foreign investors are prohibited. Obviously, quantitative restrictions cannot be put, so this is true. They apply to investment measures related to trade in both goods and services. It does not deal with services, it only deals with the goods. So statement 2 is incorrect. Remove statement 2. they are not concerned with the regulation of foreign investment. Okay, so we already have the answer because statement 2 is incorrect. Rapid financing instrument and rapid credit facility are related to the provisions of lending by which one of the following? So it's IMF. IMF have two such facilities. One is rapid credit facility or rapid financing instrument, and the other one is gold trans. Okay, under gold trans, each country has, or the member countries have, some share into it. So whenever they require money, they can take it from here, and for 25%, first 25% of borrowing, they are not charged any fee or anything. After that, there are certain terms and conditions put on the countries. Okay. Similarly, there is rapid financing instrument, and this is also mostly unconditional. Usually, when international organizations will lend you, they will put some conditions that you need to liberalize, you need to put FDI up to this amount and all. But here, for low income countries, this facility is provided by IMF, and usually it does not have any conditions. The next question is on gold tranche itself, okay, reserve tranche. This is also a credit system granted by IMF to its members. So this was all for today, guys, and the themes we have covered are carbon, WTO, IMF. I have not covered World Bank and EU, but you should cover them as well. And industrial chemistry, call it industrial chemistry or call it the applications of different industries. But these themes are very important and very small. If you are having any issues in understanding how to cover and what dimensions you are supposed to cover, you can fill the form and we can have a discussion on it as well. All the best.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update from Civil's Daily.